17. How to be a failure. Part 1. Do as you please. September the 1st, 1953. Good morning, friends. Let's consider briefly a matter that bothers me quite a bit. It seems to me that one of the things people work hardest at is how to be a failure. Most people spend their lives dodging work and responsibility and work harder at avoiding work than they ever do at their job. It seems to me that this is one reason why so many people avoid Christ and His church. They seem afraid that the Lord might make a success out of the mess of their lives. After all, it's a matter of clear-cut statistical evidence that Christians on the whole have happy homes that endure, children who are loving and successful, and more satisfying and rewarding lives. Apparently, most people don't want that because they're very busy doing the things which produce failure and frustration. If that's what you want in life, I'd like to give you a little help towards that end so that you can be a failure more easily and quickly. There's no point in wasting time in this matter. If you want failure and frustration, you might as well get it quickly and efficiently. The two easiest ways to failure are these. First, do as you please, and second, be sure to blame everyone and everything except yourself for everything that goes wrong. Let's look at the first easy step to failure and frustration. It's one of the easiest things in the world to say that when you were young, your folks made you do too many things, and so now you plan to do exactly as you please. You can act very wise and self-righteous about that, after all. You're entitled to some freedom in life, you can say, and the world owes it to you. Of course, all the while you are doing as you please, be sure that you insist that your wife or husband, your children, your friends, and your neighbours do exactly what they are supposed to do rather than what pleases them. If you persist in this course of action, you'll fail very quickly and effectively. The second step to failure and frustration is to blame everyone and everything except yourself. If you blame your heredity or environment, you can do it in good style. It's all so scientific and logical. After all, sociologists have written weighty books to demonstrate how heredity, society, economics, cultural factors, education, and other factors can determine our lives. It's really getting quite respectable to blame our failure on these factors. Or, if you don't want to make it quite so complicated, blame your boss, or your husband, or your wife. Tell yourself how wonderful you are and how successful you would be if only your spouse were not the irritating failure he or she is. It's a wonderfully quick way to fail, and also have a good rousing fight while you're doing it. But be sure never to blame yourself for anything. Always find someone else to blame, and let them know it. Failure and frustration will come very quickly this way. But perhaps you're different and don't want to fail. Perhaps you don't enjoy frustration and unhappiness, as most people seem to. Then the first thing for you to do is to recognize that our purpose here on earth is not to please ourselves, but to please God. The chief end of man, says the Westminster Shorter Catechism, is to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. The whole purpose of our lives is to say no to ourselves and yes to the Lord. It is only as we deny ourselves and die to ourselves that we begin to receive peace and joy and begin really to live. The second step is to take full responsibility for every failure, confess it before God, to say with David, "Against thee only have I sinned and done this evil in thy sight." Psalm 51:4. We need to say, in the words of an ancient prayer, "Lord, I have sinned in thought, word, and deed, through my fault, my own most grievous thought. Wherefore I pray Almighty God to have mercy upon me, to forgive me all my sins, and to make clean my heart within me." When, instead of pleasing ourselves, we try to please God first of all, then others in Him, it's surprising how quickly our sense of failure gives way to peace and joy, even amidst troubles. And when we accept the responsibility for our actions and our frustrations, we sometimes find quickly how much love and response we gain from those whom we once blamed. But whether we get these practical results or not, we have this assurance: peace with God and success in Him. God never fails, and when His Spirit reigns in our hearts and lives, we have a perfect guarantee against failure and frustration. Then, the Lord is thy keeper, the Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil, He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even for evermore. Psalm 121, 5-8.